Okay, folks, so these are the kind of problems that we're going to see today in our homework, right? You notice how they kind of look like lines, but then they've got an inequality sign right here. And we've talked about these a little bit before in the past. I just want to do a quick review and have you try some problems in ALEKS. So here's the way I'm going to try that. I'm going to start with problem number 1. I'd suggest you open up the assignment and look with me, and then I'm going to write on the problem, okay? So let's see how this goes. All right, so how do we manage these inequalities right here? Well, I treat them like equations to start with. Y equals, how would I graph y equals negative 3x minus 4? I would go down to negative 4 on the y-axis. And then I would put a dot, because that's a point. This is the y-intercept, right? We've been talking about this a little bit. It's easy for us to forget some of these basics, so let me go through this. And then the slope is negative 3, so this is the slope right here. It's equal to negative 3. Well, what is negative 3? It's the same as negative 3 over 1. Why do I want to write as a fraction? Because I want to go down 3. 1, 2, 3. See, I'm coming down 3 from my y-intercept. That's down, which is negative 3, and then I got to make it positive 1. Otherwise, I would have negative 3 over negative 1. If I went down 3 back 1, I'd end up with a positive 3 slope. I want one of them to be negative and one of them to be positive. So I go down 3, right 1, or I could go up 3 and back 1. So if I went up 3, 1, 2, 3, back 1, notice how that's going to be on that same line right there. So you have flexibility in doing this stuff. So let's see if I can open the line tool, come down here, put a dot there, put a dot. Oh, I don't think it worked. Uh-oh, it might not let me do it. Place a point there, place a point there. For some reason my little program doesn't let me do that, so let's see if I jump over here, jump back over here. So what did we do? We went down 3, no, we went down 4, and then we went down 3 from that spot and over 1, right? So there's my line right there. Now I want it to be a dash line, so I think I need to choose that tool, make it a dash line. Why dashed? Because see how it's just a less than symbol? Okay, it's not a less than or equal to. If it had a little bar, then it would be a solid. Like this one is going to be a solid line, all right? Now, being an inequality, here's what we need to do next. We need to test to see if a point exists in the solution. So you can test any point on the right or any point on the left of the dashed line. So I really like zeros for arithmetic. So I'm going to test out the origin every time that the origin is not right on the line. Okay, so since the origin is on a certain side of the line, if it works, I'm plugging 0 in for y. See, my inequality is y less than negative 3x minus 4. So I'm plugging a 0 in for y, and I'm plugging a 0 in for x, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, so I get 0 less than negative 4. That's a false statement. 0, I'd rather owe somebody no money than owe them $4. That's what negative 4 would be. I'd be like owing somebody $4. So at this point, I want to show that it's not in the solution. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shade everything on the other side. Oops, I went on the wrong side of that line there. Oops, again, I did it. Dang it. So I want to shade all this stuff like over here. Right? That's all these points would work. I don't really need to test one out because I found the one on the other side didn't work, so these points over here have to work. All right, I hope I'm making that clear. Okay, so here comes the next part. I'm going to graph y greater than or equal to 4x plus 7. Well, I treat it like an equation. Y equals 4x plus 7. My y-intercept's 7, so I go up to 7, put a dot right there. My slope is 4, so I go up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. Okay? Now I want it to be a solid line. When I graph this thing, I want it to be a solid line because it's a a greater than or equal to sign over there, right? And it would keep on going, right? So here we go. I got to jump back over to my program, and then I jump back over here. I grab my line tool. I go up to 7. Boom. From my 7 spot, I want to go either down 4, 2, 3, 4, back 1, or I go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1, and put a dot down. Okay, now it is a solid, like we said earlier. I've got to figure out which way to shade. Oh, shoot, you know what I should do? Well, maybe I'll wait. Remember we were shading everything over here, right? So now we want to see which way this one's going to shade. So if I test out 0, 0, I'm going to do this verbally. I hope this doesn't mess you up. I'm going to put a 0 there and a 0 there. Is 0 greater than or equal to 7? No. So with this solid line here, I'm going to shade away from the origin again. So it's going to shade all this stuff. So I think the region that was in common was right over here, right? Wasn't this dashed line shading over here, and now the solid line shading over there also? So I choose my shading tool and I click over here, and then I want to check my answer. If I make a mistake, then I'm going to think some more about it, okay? All right, now they say this one's more difficult. Well, I don't know. What would make this one more difficult? Well, it's not in slope-intercept form, but I like standard form sometimes. I mean, you know, if it's reasonable numbers, I kind of like this, because you know what I can do is I can put a 0 in for x, and I get 3y. Remember, I'm treating them like equations first, okay? And so if I divide by 3, my y-intercept is 2, okay? So I come up here to 2, I'm going to put a dot right there. Now I'm going to put a 0 in for the y, and I see the issue here. So I get 7x plus 3 times 0 is equal to 6, and then I get 7x equals 6, and then I get x equals 6/7. Uh-oh. How am I going to put 6/7 in here for my, like my dot's going to be like right there somewhere, right? I don't know. Let's try. Let's see what happens here. So if I jump back over to here, and I said I wanted the 0.67 in there, so I could, I think, go here and go like this, 6 over 7, and then I was putting 0 in for y, right? So there's my point at 6/7, and then the other one was 2, wasn't it, for my y-intercept? Well, I'm pretty confident I can get 2 here, so I go down here and just click on the y value of 2, and then I click on my point that I just created, and hopefully it goes through that. I got to make it a dashed line because it's a less than symbol. And then which way am I going to shade? If I put zeros in here, this would be 0 less than 6. Ooh, I'm going to shade toward the origin. Okay, and I could shade right now, I think, but once I put this other inequality on here, then we might have some issues, okay? So 7's going to go into 21 3 times, so I've got a y-intercept of 3. And then if I put a 0 in for y, I would divide by 5, and it goes negative 4.2. So I want negative 4.2 for my x-intercept, so I go over here, and I put negative 4.2 in, negative 4.2. And I know I'm doing this real fast. I'm not really showing how I did that. I did that in my head. So I've got my 2 points on there. Now I'm going to connect those two. Where'd my y-intercept go? Oh, I guess I didn't put the y-intercept on there, right? So I got to do that right now. So I go 3, and then over here to that point, and that should be a solid line. And if I stick zeros in, I get 0 less than 21. Hey, ooh, look at that! It worked out, because I do want this stuff. Oh no, I want this stuff going this way. Oh, it didn't work out. Okay, so I got to erase that somehow. How do I erase that over there? Oh, eraser, probably eraser. And then I want this stuff down here. Yes, because I want it to go toward the origin, and I wanted that one to go toward the origin. So I think that's going to do it. I check it. Uh-oh, fill in the empty boxes. Wait, what are they talking about? What am I? Oh, down here it says give a coordinate to one of the points in the solution set. Oh, well, I could pick any point down here in the shaded region. How about the origin? The origin works for both of them. So I put 0 there, and I put 0 there. I hit check. Okay, so that's how we're doing today's homework right there. I want you to